Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Don Mosher. He's the corporate consultant for Cypress Development. Welcome back to the show, Don, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me back.
Don, I hear that Cypress has had some good news from the courts. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, we had a company down in Nevada that encroached on some of our claims and actually drilled a couple of holes. And they disputed our ownership. It ended up going to court down in Nevada. The ruling confirmed the status of our claims. And now what we're waiting for is the judge to rule on what the actual damages are and what Cypress is going to get awarded out of this trial. For sure we get back all court costs, and we'll see what comes in additional to that.
That sounds like a plot out of so many movies. Somebody, mining into your area. How is that possible with GPS today, to accidentally go into somebody's land? Obviously, it wasn't an accident.
Yeah, I don't know if I can even speak to it other than to say these guys went on the property, drilled the holes, overstaked our claims, and then took us to court disputing our ownership of it. They really had no basis for anything that they did. They really do view anything like that very seriously in the U.S. And, everything worked out in our favor. We had staked the claims properly. We did have ownership of the claims. It was really shocking that they actually came on the property and drilled a couple of holes. And, we'll see what the damages are, and we'll see if they can claim the damages that are awarded to us at the end of the day. But, as far as us looking to do deals on the property or somebody buying the project or anything along that line coming down in the future, once the PFS is done, it really validates the fact that we own this project and nobody has any concerns about anything along that line. So if you actually did get into some sort of a deal, whether it's a joint venture or whether somebody actually wants to buy the project, whatever form that takes, everybody can be very comfortable that we are the owners of the entire land package.
Don, is Cypress's development in Nevada unique in the lithium world?
It's very unique. Most of the world's lithium production either comes out of the Atacama Desert in the form of brines. In Clayton Valley, where we're located, the original brine mine is located. Abermarley owns the Silver Peaks mine there. It's been in production for well over 50 years. The grades are dropping on it. It doesn't produce what would be considered a large amount of lithium. I think it's like 3,500 tons a year. And that represents the only production in the United States of America right now. The largest producers of lithium from brines are located in the Atacama Desert in Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia, although Bolivia I don't believe has any production at all right now, and they have some serious problems with contaminants in the brines. But in Chile, the locals and indigenous populations surrounding those brine facilities have gotten rather angry. There's been a lot of accusations that SQM and Abermarley have been drawing more than their quota out of the aquifers there. And they were planning on expanding those facilities dramatically. And an environmental court in Chile has come forth and ruled in favor of the indigenous and local populations that they have first right to the aquifers there, and there won't be any expansion in the foreseeable future that I'm aware of as a result of those decisions coming in. So ultimately, when you take a look at the projections put forward by Morgan Stanley, for example, saying there was going to be a flood of lithium hitting the market, it just demonstrates that you can't base anything on the projections when you just take a look at what companies say they're going to expand to. I mean, what you actually need to do is what Eric Zoncharb did at Canaccord, go back to 2011, take a look at what was projected and what actually came on, and what only about 10-20% of what projected came on stream. So these projections that have been put forth over the last couple of years, when you run into these disputes with local and indigenous populations in these areas, you need to take that into account. And those projections, I think, are going to be way offside. So last year we actually saw an 18% increase in the demand for lithium and a 12% drop in price. And I think a lot of that price drop was, number one, it's not a global market, and number two, it was based on these projections put forth by a big bank. I think you're going to see that turn around. I think you'll see an increase in the lithium prices. I think they'll have to relook at their projections out there, and they're going to be depending more on spodumene, which are more costly. So our project is a claystone. There is no commercial claystone production anywhere in the world right now, but Western Lithium in Thacker Pass is working on a claystone deposit, as we are. And there's one other project that's more of a boron project in Rhyolite Ridge, which is like 35 miles from us. Really, the two foremost claystone projects in the world, I would say, is Cypress development and Western Lithium, moving forward into pre-feasibility studies being released and published. And I expect ours to come out maybe the end of January, early February. We've had a couple of delays at the engineering lab. And that was in regards to one of the engineers that's running the study for us having some health problems.
Don, for people new to Cypress development, what are you all about?
We're all about developing claystone deposit in Clayton Valley, Nevada, and offering the world a third reliable supply of lithium. I think that the demands are understated. If you take a look, for example, Rio Tinto put out a report the other day where they project that the world is going to use more copper in the next 25 years than it's used in the history of using copper. Now, that copper is obviously going to electrification, and you need to store the electricity to use it. So all these electric vehicles, here in Vancouver, Harbour Air flew an electric plane the other day, which may work well for short hauls. So there is a lot of potential demand out there for lithium.
Don, where are you traded and under what symbols?
So our symbol on the Toronto Venture Exchange is CYP. We also trade in the United States, and our symbol down there is CYDVF. And then over in Frankfurt, we also have some trading. It's C1Z1 in Frankfurt.
If people have questions for Cypress, how can they get a hold of you?
They can go to the website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com. There's the contact tab in there to get hold of us, and all the relevant information regarding the company is all encompassed on the website.
Don, thank you so much for the update.
My pleasure, Jim.
I've been speaking with Don Mosher, corporate consultant for Cypress Development. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on January 8th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.